Hi there, everyone, and welcome to this webinar for Fieldview Solutions about AI. AI is sometimes a sensitive topic, and see how we can use it to make our lives easier. So I want to start with some basic information. I actually found this quote from Satya Nadella. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, which is the chief executive from Microsoft. And you can see what he said is artificial intelligence is not a substitute for human intelligence. It is a tool to amplify human creativity and ingenuity. So quite often people are scared, I don't know if that's the right word, skeptical, that AI will take over the jobs that we do. But if I think about the way that I'm using AI, it's helping me to be more efficient and more productive in what I'm doing. And then these are the few things that we'll be looking into in this webinar. Practical things that we can use in terms of our communication. It doesn't have to be complicated. AI doesn't have to be a bot answering questions and solving problems. We can use it in our everyday, I want to say everyday life, but in the way that you are using Bitrix. Because Bitrix has got Copilot that's built into your Bitrix. So, but rather than talking about it, let's look at actual examples in Bitrix on how we can use that. But before we do that, I want to show you a picture. A lot of our customers, when we mention that Bitrix has AI built into it, it's got a bit of a fear of where is my data going? So when you chat to Copilot in your Bitrix, that data stays in Bitrix. So the questions you ask is not shared publicly with other Bitrix portals. It's not shared with other users unless you add them, give them a link to that specific chat, and it's part of your Bitrix database that is stored and secured. So only you can see it. So don't worry where it's going. It is all staying in your Bitrix. So let's go Bitrix and let's see how we use these items. I want to start with emails. We all send a gazillion of emails every day. And sometimes you don't have the right words to say it or to phrase it correctly. And this is the first item where you can use Copilot to help you. This is an example just of a basic text that I've typed for the email, but I need it to be a bit more formal and structured or professional. Then you can use your Copilot in Bitrix. As you can see there, the prompt is to use the space bar, or if you've highlighted it, Copilot will also appear for you to click on the button and then start using it. So I'm going to do this, and then you've got different options. We'll be looking at the summarizing of the email thread, but what I want to use in this case is if I scroll down, you can see I can say I can improve the text. So, or I can say make the tone a bit more polite or a bit more professional, whichever options you would want. So I'm going to use this example to say make the tone more formal. Once I select that, Copilot starts thinking in the back. It gets the message that it suggests that I should use. And then you can decide to say, okay, it's great. I want to use it. Or no, it's not really. Try again and show me something else to see if it is more what I want. So in this case, I'm going to say replace selected text. Now you can see the text is a bit more professional, and I can send it to Peter and make sure it looks a bit better. You can use it in different ways to say professionalize or update my text. So that is the email option that you can use. Let's look at the next example. That is in a task. So quite often I like to use the checklists in the tasks in Bitrix, but maybe I've just had a long conversation of something that happened, or I can even copy and paste an email that was sent to me with a lot of instructions and items going up and down. Then I'll give it to Copilot and tell them, summarize it for me and make a checklist. So you can either use something like this, where I've already typed different items, and I can click on this Copilot option that says create a checklist for me. Then you will see it creates a checklist like that. I can also use this email. Let's see what Copilot does with that. To say, just add that over there, highlight and say, create a checklist for me. Those are all the items that I need to do from this email, because sometimes we miss something that is an action that we actually have to do after we've received an email. So practical example doesn't have to be complicated. Then let's look at the next item. So I don't know how many of you get emails like this. I get them often, where it's a whole conversation going up and down. It started with just a one-liner, and a lot of people have been involved in this conversation. For me to go and read it to see what is the gist of this whole thread will take me quite a while, and I might miss something. So in this case, use Copilot to help you to summarize it. How do I do that? If I click either on reply or on forward, as long as it's in an editing mode, I can click on Copilot and ask it to summarize it for me. So space, and I'll say summarize email thread. It's reading through all of those mails and it's summarizing it for me. Now you can even use this and put it as a task to say get some checklist items, interlink the options. So now I understand what this whole email thread was about, and I can either now say type, give me a possible reply that I can use. So reply to the email, express thanks for the information received, whatever prompts you would want to use. It is not a cast in stone. If I've picked save, clear implementation plan, you can still change it before you send it, because you have to still apply your mind. Don't just trust AI when it gives information, because sometimes it misinterprets information or it's just using very weird language. So you need to still proofread or interpret what's been given to you before you send it out. So that's the item to say I'm summarizing an email. Next item is very, very handy. When you have Bitrix and you use your internal calls, you can use it to summarize meeting items for you. So let's look at an example of what we can do. I'm going to call Umulemo, which is on the other side of this call, and the conversation will be recorded like you can see it over here. This is a previous meeting that we had, but we can look at the next meeting. So I am going to call Umulemo. He will hear the call ringing on his Bitrix, and the moment he answers the call, we can start with our conversation. And then whatever we're discussing will be transcribed and summarized afterwards. Hello, Umulemo. Thanks for joining the call quickly. I wanted us just to look at a follow-up of the project for the sales and delivery implementation for Coca-Cola. Exactly, that's what I thought as well. So sales is capturing the deals correctly, but now once the order moves to delivery, the visibility drops, and the plant seems to still rely on spreadsheets and WhatsApp messages. All right, okay. Thanks, Uma, for this chat. We can follow up in a next meeting. Thanks, Uma. Right, so that is actually another example of what you can use in Bitrix, not specifically just AI. So we will give Copilot some time. It will analyze the call, summarize it for me, and do exactly this. We sometimes laugh when we have an internal meeting, and we're going to wonder what Copilot's saying after the meeting if we didn't stick to the specific agenda. But what I do like it is, as you can see over here, it gives you a scoring. So did you have an agenda? Did you follow the agenda? And did you summarize afterwards? You can see more on a detailed analysis. If you click over there, then you get more detail in terms of the specific call. Results, analysis, and then your whole transcript is there, and you can even listen to the whole meeting. We don't always remember what happened in a meeting, and then this helps to summarize it. So that is using Copilot in your meetings. You can also use Bitrix over here in terms of our meetings to do a voice recording. If you need to send somebody instructions for a new task that they have to do, you can also give it the voice transcript, and then it can type it for you. What I can do now here is I can jump back to tasks. You remember we looked at tasks, how we created a checklist. If I do this and I say I'm creating a task, then it can give me more items to say this is what has to be done based on the conversation, on these notes that I've added. So let's create a task. And then you'll see the message that was typed over there is listed as the details. I'm just going to call it notes. And when I open up this task, you'll see that message that I typed over there is displayed here. And now I can once again go, I can say edit. I can use Copilot to say, what does it want? What do I want it to do? And then it creates a checklist for me. So that is using Copilot in your calls and chats in your Bitrix24. Then another tool in terms of AI and Bitrix to help you with your everyday thinking is AI Copilot can put on a specific hat when you're asking it questions. Because normally you need to give some background to say, this is who I am, this is the background of what I'm asking the question for. But if you use this, you can ask it from a specific role. So these are some of the examples you have. So you can have different roles if you do copywriting or whatever, or expert roles. So I'm going to use the marketing role. So let's use marketing specialist. So now Bitrix knows, Copilot knows the angle that I'm asking it. So I've pre-typed a text for us. So if I have a new product that I'm selling, I want to ask Copilot, give me ideas on how I can sell this product. So I'm going to do that over here. There's the whole spiel of the product I'm selling. And then I'm asking it for creative ideas. The moment I click send, it will start thinking, and then it will give me the ideas of what I can use in my marketing. So there's a whole list of ideas that I can use. Once again, read it, see if it's practical, if it will work for your audience, in this case. Yeah, and you've got some ideas. If I go to Copilot over here, I can show you previous questions that I've done. So if I needed a lead magnet for insurance for the older people, I can do that. Or disciplinary notice drafting to make sure it is professional. Professional, you click the HR role, but you can also do it generic. I like doing this because it already gives it a bit of background in terms of where I'm coming from. So here you can see again, this is from as a marketing, and this can just be a general one where I can just type my text, help me with idea for newsletter heading. So it's going to tell me, I need a bit more information, so it will guide you, because what you give AI is what you get back. You can access Copilot in terms of this to ask for help or advice in two ways. So you can either go to your chats when you are on your chats. So if I close this and I go to the right and I open up any of my chats, it will be here on top as Copilot, and you can access any of these. If you do just a plus over here, it will always open up a generic Copilot for you. But if I go over here, and I can say I want to ask a question from a specific angle, then I can do this, and I can pick one of the roles that I want to see it from, like you saw when I had the conversation open in the beginning. So that's Copilot in terms of general day-to-days. The example I showed you for the marketing campaign, you can even use for your social media posts or whatever you would need some help for it to get the thoughts going. So let's summarize quickly in terms of what Bitrix can do to help you in your everyday work. You can do emails. It can change the tone or make sure you are not rude if you're very upset while you're typing the email. So you can use it for that. You can use it in your tasks to create a checklist for you from either an email or just your thoughts that you've added. You can use it to type a specific email, whichever tone you would want to make it. The chats, you can use it to summarize a meeting for you and give you action points. You can ask it general information or specific guides on doing something. What I missed over here is the actual very long email that it can summarize for you. Very handy tool. So that's AI in Bitrix. It doesn't have to be complicated and very technical. Use Bitrix. Let it help you in your everyday communication. So I hope these examples were helpful. You can post your comment in the chat if there's anything specific that you would want to get some info for. Else, you can place your comments after the webinar has been posted, and we can gladly have a look at it and see if we can post something else. Thank you very much for joining. You will receive information for our next webinar. Have a great day.